Previously.
The family has left my mini version with Nate and Esper while they were on vacation, and you've been busy redesigning Grandma's house as well as your own.
I have started playing The Sims to plan the layout of the rooms.
What a strange prank. But who is Jill?
I'm a journalist working for Lunar Ticker, and I'm going to expose you all as a family of evil occults.
We'll see about that.
Bringing her back may not be the best idea, as long as we don't know who is sending us those messages about her.
There she was, famous fashion designer Big V, on her way to the Mammini's house.
And when we got close enough to the house to peek through a window, she had already started painting the kitchen wall.
It was Delilah all along. But why?
Alright. See you then.
Who was that?
The unexpected other side of my family. They'll be here in an hour or so.
That's nice. I can't wait to see Evangelina again. We haven't really talked since she wrote that article about my life.
Charming, but she's not coming over to see the uncaring mother who begot and then forgot her. Neither is Lumi. I asked them to help me with the moon barrier.
Aya, I didn't forget you, or Eva. We talked about this yesterday, remember? I wrote you both
Letters, yes I know. But you'll forgive me if I'm not in the mood to rehash that right now.
Still, you shouldn't dismiss her like that, mistress. Sometimes there can be valid reasons for a mother to leave her child behind, even if it happened in another life that she doesn't even remember.
Until my dear half-sister arrives, we might as well do that thing you suggested, and give a face to the woman who threatened my children.
Yes, but you'll have to use Tiamo's computer. Yours doesn't have the video game Delilah was talking about.
I wonder why not. Creating a world full of virtual people and ruining their pathetic little lives seems like just the kind of game that would warm the cockles of my heart.
But only until you encounter people walking through walls, even though there's a door, and the many other bugs that will ruin your own life.
Sure you're up for this, Delilah. You told me you've been using The Sims to digitally furnish your new house, but creating characters is another matter.
I've done it before. Soraya, if you could describe to me, in as much detail as you can, how that lunatic journalist looked, I may be able to create a facial composite.
She looked like a bitch, if that helps. No offense, bitch.
But I'm still offended. What will you say now?
Damn it. Not again.
What's going on?
This is the new trick I told you about. Ever since I got infected with and cured of unpronounceablitis in Selvadorada, I'm turning into a ghost and back every time I sneeze. And that's apparently not the only thing I caught, because I've been sneezing a lot. Wilbica got a little sick on vacation as well, but she seems to be feeling better now.
Perhaps you're allergic to this Jill mystery. The sooner we solve it, the better.
Yes, but I still don't think it was a good idea to send the others to the Lunatica office in Willow Creek to learn more about Jillian Chopra. Leviathan wasn't with you back when she showed up, so he should be safe with or without a disguise, but if she was researching this family, she must have known what Tiamo and Wilbica looked like even if she never met them in person. And she might have accomplices who know too.
Don't worry about it. No one is going to recognize Wilbica after that makeover I gave her. I'm a fashion designer in real life too, not just in The Sims.
And Tiamo is running around in his human form that he used before becoming both a vampire and a celebrity. No one will recognize him either.
If you say so. I hope you're right.
They're doing their part, let us do ours. Aya, a little help here.
Right. First of all, her skin was darker than that, and she had short brown hair.
Does anyone else miss our son? Or nephew in your case, Wilbica? Not just the big one, we've already seen him since we came back from Selvadorada, but the small one.
I do. And when this is over, we'll go get him at once. But until we know what's going on, and how much trouble we're in, it's best if he stays with Nate and Esper. Anyway, this is it.
Are you sure, Tiamo? I thought this was the publishing house where you first met Charmaine.
And where my first book was published that made me famous, yes. The building at least. Now it's apparently the headquarters of an online magazine trying to bring us down. Oh, the irony.
I already don't like it. The idea of spending the rest of my youth going to the same indoor workplace every day creeps me out. Do they at least have an aquarium in there?
I don't know, but I'm not planning on staying long enough to give them interior design tips. Shall we go? Ah shit.
What?
That's Peter Knudsen, one of Nate's brothers. He knew me before the rest of the world.
But that was ages ago. You think he still remembers your old face?
Well, it's not that different from the new one, just paler and less sexy.
So what? You can always just brainwash him or erase his memory in case he does recognize you.
I'd rather not. Not here. Remember, this is a group of poor man's witch hunters. For all we know, they could have some kind of occult detecting device that would blow our cover the moment we use any magic.
But why would Peter work for an anti-occult magazine with a brother who is a vampire and another brother whose girlfriend is a witch?
Excuse me, who are you talking about?
I don't know if Peter knows anything at all. Finn didn't learn about Nate being a vampire until months after his transformation, and not everybody is as tolerant. I think it's best if I stay outside.
Okay then. Leviathan and I can do this alone.
Right. Not my first undercover operation, and this one can't possibly go as bad as the one with the real witch hunters in SetsunaMaiou, can it?
Good morning, Jenny. How was your vacation? Hey, what's wrong? Was Miss Knox mean to you again?
What? No, it's just this new article I'm writing. It hits a little closer to home than usual. Everybody else already knows, so I might as well tell you. My father was found dead in the outskirts of Henford on Bagley last week. That's why I haven't been to work.
Oh my god, that's terrible. I'm so sorry. And since you're writing about it, I suppose his death was
occult related, yes. At least I think so. The police say he was mauled by a wild animal. But Henford isn't known for its predator population, or at least it wasn't, until that recent werewolf attack in Finchwick. And my father died on a night of a full moon. That can't be a coincidence.
Werewolf attack in Finchwick? Sounds like they're talking about bitch.
Yup. Someone even caught her on camera. But the moon wasn't full that night, it was just an illusion created by Amara, and Loki was able to calm bitch down.
Well, the last real full moon was just a few days before we went on vacation. Bitch was in Henford at that time as well. Do you think?
No way. She was with Amara when Mum visited, in her usual dog form, completely innocent. But still, there seems to be a real werewolf on the loose in Henford now. We should keep this in mind.
Hello. Can I help you?
Yes, maybe. My name is Sean, this is my daughter Alice. We're friends with one of your co-workers, Jillian Chopra.
Oh, I'm sorry, but she doesn't work here anymore. Her desk now belongs to Bertha. No one has seen Chopra in ages.
So we heard. We were worried. Any idea where she might be?
No, unfortunately not. And you're the first ones to ask about her. No wait, that's not true. Her cousin showed up here shortly after she stopped coming to work. But he's a cop, only asked about her disappearance, didn't even want to take her belongings with him.
Well, we're here now. We could take her belongings, if you don't mind.
Sure, it's not much, she was always a rather private person, but still. Just a moment.
Grandma managed to create a facial composite using The Sims. Interesting. Looks familiar, but I can't quite place it. Maybe Charmaine knows.
Is that all?
Like I said, Chopra wasn't overly keen on sharing all too much about her personal life, including desk decor that might have told us something about her personality. She even insisted on being called by her last name rather than her first name, but since our chief editor does that to everyone anyway, it wasn't much of an issue.
This guy. Isn't this?
Her cop cousin that I mentioned before. I think his name was Christian, or something like that.
Crispin.
You know him?
Kind of. Anyway, we should go now, and we'll take Chopra's stuff with us.
Saul Peter, and thank you.
You're welcome. Even though I never told them my name. Strange.
They must be fans of your articles.
Knudsen. In my office, at once.
The same obviously doesn't apply to Miss Knox.
Good luck.
I sent the picture to Charmaine, and she texted me back that this was one of the guests at my launch party back in January. Apparently I had her for lunch after she asked too many questions about the inspiration behind my books. Whatever, a lot happened that day, I don't remember everything.
But I remember her. She came to my school and caused some kind of police operation. I only talked to her for a minute at best, but it was weird enough to stick with me. And now that I know who her cousin is, I'm no longer surprised that she'd come after us.
Crispin Henley. Just thinking about that arsehole makes me want to throw up. And now we have his cousin to deal with, who may be just as bad, if not worse than him. Or did her co-workers have anything nice to say about her?
They barely knew her. But given her connections to the Windenburg Police Department, we might have more luck there.
No, a little bit more to the right.
You can't be serious.
Listen to my daughter Aya. She's the moon priestess, the one among us who knows the most about protection magic. And you do want your house to be well protected, don't you?
I just don't understand why the exact positions of the crystals matter this much. We're erecting a moon barrier, not a bloody house.
Either way, you want your foundation to be stable.
I'm afraid I can't put it there without disturbing my bees. They're hibernating, but that just means they're going to be all the more pissed off if we wake them up now.
Been there, done that. Nope, definitely don't want it to happen again.
Sure you can't do anything about this?
I suppose I can. Alright. There should be a crocus bouquet lying about somewhere in my room. The scent usually calms them down. I'll go get it.
I don't have any idea what you're talking about. You want to set my entire family against me. Is this your way of getting back at me for abandoning them when I was young and stupid and didn't know where to go in life? What else must I do to convince you all that I have changed?
Calm down. If I wanted to start another family feud, I could have accused you in front of everybody instead of waiting for a chance to talk to you in private. But I'm not accusing you at all. Not yet. I only want to figure out the truth.
The truth is, leaving bloody messages on walls is not my usual method of letting people know that I have a problem. Yesterday, when we went into the kitchen after you and Tiamo noticed the smell of blood, that was the first time I saw it as well. What even gives you the idea that I had anything to do with it?
Nate and Isper saw you at the house the night before.
So, I was here a lot. I painted the ceilings, remember? And sometimes I stayed until after sundown because I couldn't get everything done in time.
No, they saw you through the window as you were writing the message. I don't know how or why, but it was you, Delilah.
Unbelievable.
Aya. I can explain.
So explain then. That's all I ever asked of you.
I'm listening. You have 10 seconds.
Well, I don't know. As I said, that wasn't me. Can't have been me. What can I do to prove that to you?
Your 10 seconds are over. Do what you've always done best. Piss off.
What's going on in there?
Isn't that one of the mayor's sons over there?
Yeah, Julian, I think. He works here now.
You don't think he's the one behind all this, do you?
Who? Julian?
No, Crispin of course.
Hell if I know. If Jillian was his cousin, he certainly would have good reason to investigate her disappearance, but unless he came back from the dead somehow.
Wouldn't be the first time the witch hunters brought someone back. They managed to restore Prudence's body after all, even though it must have been in worse shape than Crispin's. It couldn't hurt to know what he was working on before he died.
Just call us if you need help. Good luck.
Hey Tiamo, how can I help you?
What? You couldn't possibly
recognize you even though you're dressed like a high school nerd. Come on, I remember every guy I've ever slept with, even if it was just a one-time whirlpool fling.
Well, in that case, I'll get down to business right away instead of confusing you with the fake complaint I was about to file. I need information about a dirty cop who worked here before you. Does the name Crispin Henley ring a bell?
Yes, but his records are classified, sorry.
Why?
Because when it turned out that he was secretly a criminal, it was decided not to share this information with the public to avoid backlash against the police department. He was a... Hey, I'm not even supposed to tell you that.
Then don't tell me. Show me.
Oh. Of course.
So now we're chasing after that Crispin guy, rather than Jillian? Who was he? An ex that Tiamo would rather forget. Because he seems to hate him with a passion.
As we all did. Crispin was a liar, a sexist, a stalker, and last but not least, a witch hunter. Until he took it too far and got ripped to shreds for his efforts.
Shit happens.
No, bitch happened. They had a bit of a history, but she wasn't the only one who wanted him dead. And to think that he used to be a cop. The police department is pretty much the last place you'd wish to encounter a fucking asshole like that.
Speaking of asshole cops, bitch seems to have a thing for those. Isn't that Evelyn Bell's husband? The one who wanted to put bitch down for biting him?
Yes, it is. We better keep an eye on him.
This file contains printouts of all the letters and emails Officer Henley wrote on his work computer, as well as transcripts of the phone calls he made on the police department's premises.
You were very thorough. Is that standard procedure whenever a cop quits or is killed in action?
Only if the cop in question was suspected of being a criminal. Officer Henley seems to have had connections to an association of self-proclaimed witch hunters.
That would be the Children of the Sun. But we already knew that. How was Jillian Chopra involved?
He had a cousin with that name. But besides their relation, there is no evidence to suggest that she was involved with the Children of the Sun herself.
No, just working for an online magazine hell-bent on exposing occults. Seems like we're dealing with two unrelated organizations of witch hunters here. You don't mind if I borrow these files, do you?
I am in no position to oppose you while I'm still under your mind control.
Good boy.
Julian, what are you doing here? And who is that? You should know that civilians aren't allowed in the archive rooms, let alone the ones containing classified files.
Nobody is allowed in this room, not even you, Officer Bell. But don't worry, I did not tell the civilian or our boss about your repeated unauthorized visits to make copies of your former partner's files.
How dare you? The officers downstairs will handle that. Now, as for you, Julian. Wait. Where did the civilian go?
What civilian? How did I get here?
We're fine. My daughter just got a little scared when the window exploded. You should fire whoever installed them.
We're terribly sorry. The glass is supposed to be bulletproof. I can't even explain how that happened.
It's okay. Nobody got hurt, and we're done here anyway. Let's go, Alice. Next time you're planning to break a huge amount of glass right next to my face, a little warning would be nice.
The original plan was to set someone on fire, but that would have looked even more supernatural and out of the blue, and some of those cops were already giving us suspicious looks. Now they can chalk it up to some criminal shooting at their windows while driving by.
You mean they're bulletproof windows?
The guy had a grenade launcher, okay?
Sounds like you had fun.
And you? Did you get what we came for?
Nothing really new about Crispin or Jillian, but I learned something interesting about our favorite cop, Aaron Bell. It could explain who wrote us those messages.
What if your friends Nate and Espa are wrong? They think they saw Delilah, but maybe it wasn't really her, just someone who looked a lot like her?
Highly unlikely, considering everything else we know.
Which is?
That there were no signs of a break-in, for starters. Whoever left that bloody writing on the wall had a key. That reduces the number of suspects significantly.
I don't like saying this, especially because I'm not Delilah's biggest fan myself, but I think you're blaming her because you want her to be guilty. You haven't forgiven her for abandoning you, but this has nothing to do with that. There are other possible explanations we should take into account before we condemn her. Like, a vampire could have made her do it via mind control, and made her forget about it afterwards.
Or maybe it wasn't her at all, but someone playing around with a skinwalker relic, like when that stranger turned himself into my brother months ago, and bitch into a hellhound. In that scenario, all they had to do was steal a key.
But then why bother with any complicated magic or stealing keys when they could have just broken in? We were out of the country for days. It makes no sense.
You know what else makes no sense? If it had been Delilah, don't you think she would have made it look like a break-in to divert suspicion from herself?
If she was smart, yes. But when was the last time she said or did something smart?
This is getting us nowhere. Evangelina, you have been suspiciously quiet. What do you think? Could your mother be capable of something like this?
The sad truth is, I never knew her well enough to tell what she may or may not be capable of. I didn't get to spend 20 years with her before she abandoned me. Whatever the case, I don't think turning her into a garden gnome forever is the solution.
Oh, that's not her. Just some relic thief who crossed me in Selvadorada.
Then why are we standing here looking at it? And where is Delilah?
Not here. I cast a spell on her to make her disappear, and she did. And why wouldn't we be standing here admiring my newest possession? Do you have anything better to do?
Yes, we could continue working on that moon barrier, for example. Do you have that crocus bouquet you need for the bees?
Sure. Let's go.
I would feel better if you had turned her into a garden gnome though. Something tells me we shouldn't leave her unsupervised until we know what's going on.
Espa, I need your help.
Can it wait? I'm teaching the little one how to knit.
Wouldn't you rather teach him something more useful?
Are you saying my hobby is useless?
For a toddler, yes. What I'm doing here will benefit him a lot more while he's staying with us. Now could you come up for a minute?
Having trouble assembling the crib?
Not really. I know what I'm supposed to do. Could just use a third hand that I don't have.
In that case, it's not so bad that I'm teaching him how to use his hands. With any luck, he'll be able to assemble his own proper bed once it grows out of the crib.
I don't think the Mamminis will leave him with us for that long.
Well, I can still knit some clothes for him in the meantime, now that the fashion designer in his own family won't be allowed near him anytime soon.
We'll see about that. Anyway, the base frame is done, but I could use your special touch installing these overly complicated floating toys.